welcome back to Night Owl Movie Talk, keeping you up on the latest movie news. Or at least the stuff I want to talk about, and this time I want to talk about the new Kevin Smith trailer for CLERKS III. It dropped this week. I didn't get a chance to look at it. It's been a few days now, so I thought maybe we'd look at it together and break it on down, all right? I'm a bit of a big Kevin Smith dork, especially when I was younger. I don't know, I got some toys here, and there's some books behind me and whatnot. I feel like you're looking at my B-roll right now. Is my B-roll look good? Have I kept my B-roll tidy for you? All right. Now that we're done checking out my B-roll, I thought maybe we would check out this trailer. Let's go ahead and hit start on this. I'm going to turn the volume down. It's just the song My Own Worst Enemy by Lit, and they play it real loud, and it's going to give me a copyright strike, so we're just going to have to kind of work through this together. All right, Lionsgate, right on. Jay and Silent Bob. Jay, don't break a hip, man. You're too old. Okay, hold on. Let me pause on Jay dancing here real quick. I noticed two things right away, only like 1 second in. What am I, literally 8 seconds in? First of all, Lionsgate. The original Clerks was independently produced and then later purchased by Miramax, and then Miramax was like the big champion of independent film at that time. And then later on, I believe they sold Miramax to Disney, and the Weinsteins formed the Weinstein Company. And I believe the Weinstein Company were the people that oversaw Clerks II. And when Kevin Smith had started approaching the idea of maybe making Clerks III, the people who were in Clerks II were like, man, we haven't even been paid properly from Clerks II yet. So there were like a bunch of lawsuits and stuff over those people trying to get paid because, you know, Hollywood accounting stuff. So this was tied up for a long time with being owned by the Weinsteins rather, you know, so it was never going to get made. So when you see Lionsgate, that's like a symbol of freedom, like, oh, they found a new studio to buy the property and to make it. So right on. Also, the other big problem to make in this movie is Kevin Smith said that Dante and Randall growing older, you know, like going from being young 20s to later on being middle-aged to later on being older, he said he thought that would be interesting, you know, and a cool story to tell. What he didn't think would be interesting and cool to tell is Jay and Silent Bob in their 50s. You know, if you're still leaning against the wall outside of a convenience store selling weed at 50, you know, it's like you're at this point you're damn near homeless, you know, like so by seeing that RST video, which I believe in Jay and Silent Bob reboot had become a Cocksmoker's Chicken Shack, you know, like a ripoff of Pollos Hermanos or whatever from Breaking Bad. So I see now that they've turned the video store, because video stores aren't a thing anymore, into what appears to be a weed dispensary. And I'm kind of hoping that Jay and Silent Bob either work there, own it, run it. I'm hoping that they have some sort of legitimate income, you know, now, so it isn't so sad. But I bet that's, you know, the way that Kevin Smith solved that problem. All right, let's start it back up. Oh, Hockey on the Roof. Holy crap. Let me pause it right there while they're playing Hockey on the Roof. I had heard them say it's way smaller up there than you would think. And when they made the first one, they said that there wasn't much room up there. It's all just the way you position the camera. It looks so much bigger than it really is. So now with that like crane shot or overhead shot that they're using, by the way, they're not using the same director of photography as they used in Clerks 1 and 2. That was Dave Klein, who was like a friend of Kevin Smith's. And now I see they're using a different guy I don't recognize. I think it's the dude that he became friends with when he made Cop Out. So the whole band isn't completely together. But you can see that the quick stop roof isn't really big enough to play hockey. The goalies could shoot on each other, you know. It's when I think back, I remember them playing, you know. So it's a good lesson in filmmaking that you can make stuff look the way it really isn't. Oh boy, Elias is back from the second one. Oh, and down goes Randall. Okay, so they're going with the Randall has a heart attack thing. Kevin Smith in all his movies does like he basically puts his life into the movies, and it tells the story of his life into his movies while at the same time making sure that the movies are just like stupid screwball comedies. So like when he became a father to a daughter, he made Jersey Girl. So all his stuff just kind of follows his life, you know. Even Jay and Silent Bob reboot is it's Kevin Smith kind of love letter to being a father to a grown daughter. right? So in this one, you can see Kevin Smith has had a heart attack prior to making of Jay and Silent Bob reboot, or maybe in between or something. Kevin Smith had gotten way too big. He'd been eating too much, smoking too much, living life too hard. So he had a heart attack. So you can see that he's putting that in here now. Let's start it back up. Jerry Maguire homage. And then, yeah, okay. So Randall's going to make a movie. So that's basically the same thing that he had put in Zack and Miri Make a Porno. You know, Kevin Smith, one of the many things he wanted to do is he wants to touch upon, you know, the stories of his life and the, you know, cornerstones of his life. So one of the main cornerstones of his life is obviously filmmaking. And I felt like when he made Zack and Miri Make a Porno, he tried to put that love of filmmaking in there. Like, what's the movie? Be Kind, Rewind, I think. Like, that movie is just all about the love of filmmaking. And I think he kind of wanted to do that, but Zack and Miri Make a Porno was not the vehicle for your love of filmmaking. And it crashed at the box office. So I think this is his redo at, you know, kind of the indie crowd of, well, here's my stuff about me being a father, here's my stuff about being a husband, and now here's my stuff about maturing and having a heart attack and all of that. So it's interesting. Elias appears to have gone goth since Randall had his heart attack. Maybe he had some sort of revelation. Wow, these guys are looking old. I'm one to talk, but damn, let me pause it here. Jeff Anderson, who plays Randall in particular, he looks like Cool Grandpa. Like, there's that point where Cool Grandpa gets a little old and he doesn't look like young fun guy anymore. He starts to look like maybe facelift guy, like skinny neck too much or whatever. So that's kind of how he looks. Like, I know a bunch of dudes who look like this who are, you know, maybe like 10 years older than me. So seeing him look like that sort of bothersome. Dante looks pretty much the same. His face is a little older. The Just for Men is saving him. Okay, you got the goth film crew. I like it. Oh, Rosario Dawson's back. Good, good. She was like the highlight of Clerks 2, basically. And there's a smart aleck comment about Disney and them being litigious. All right, let's pause it there. That's my man Mark Bernardine, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's Kevin Smith's new like main homie. You know, all this like podcasts that Kevin Smith does and all the you know, stuff he does on his YouTube channel and most of his like new projects all are usually sort of hand in hand with Mark Bernardine. Dude's cool, laid back, fun. I like him. I'm happy to see that he's in there. One thing I didn't see in the IMDb list of credits is Scott Mosier appears to not be in this. Scott Mosier was like Kevin Smith's previous like right-hand man, best friend, working buddy. Like they made everything up through pretty much up to Cop Out. And then at that point, I think Kevin Smith tried to go Hollywood when he did a Bruce Willis movie. And Mosier dipped off and did like his usual indie stuff. So like he was the producer of a band called Death and a handful of other movies. But he actually, I think, won an Oscar. And Kevin Smith has just been toiling around trying to figure out, you know, regain his footing after that whole debacle with Cop Out and Zack and Miri Make a Porno. All right. Oh, Justin Long. And, oh, wow. They brought back old buddy. At the end of Clerks 1, there's a part, there was a deleted scene. Originally, Dante was going to be killed at the end of Clerks 1. Clerks 1 was originally called Dante's Inferno. And it was supposed to be like this dude's descent into hell, you know, like how bad it is working minimum wage. And at the very end, a criminal comes in and shoots Dante and steals the money from the register, the end. So when Miramax saw it at like a preview screening, they were like, get rid of that crap immediately. So now they're kind of making a joke that whole missing ending has been coming like a sort of an urban legend. It floats around on the internet. It's attached to all the DVDs, etc. But I see now they're plugging that in here to kind of make a joke of it. They're bringing back a lot of stuff from Clerks. It seems to be mostly a callback movie by all the imagery we're seeing so far. A lot of member berries. Hey, remember Jay? Remember Silent Bob? Remember Fred Armisen? Remember a big joint? Yeah, okay, so there's Jay and Silent Bob smoking a big old joint. That leads me to believe that, yeah, maybe they do run the weed weed store next door. Dispensary is such a fancy sounding word for weed store, right? So maybe they run this dispensary next door, and that would be kind of cool. You know, it alleviates the problem of them being sad and old. But it does raise the question of how come Jay and Silent Bob get to smoke this big ass joint with no problem in their trailer, and I posted a top 5 best stoner movies, and YouTube flagged it NC-18 right away. Like, you have to be 18 to watch it. You have to be logged into YouTube to see it. Meanwhile, regular people, the Kevin Smiths of the world, get to smoke big giant joints and no one says anything. Wonderful. All right, let's see what else we got here. In theaters this fall. All right, so that brings me to another point. When I was looking up the release date of this, it says that the wide release is September 13th, I believe, which is a Tuesday. So traditionally, home media comes out on Tuesday, not a wide theatrical release. So is this going to get a theatrical release? Is it going to be one of those like in the theater for a week while it's also on Amazon and pay-per-view and hotels kind of thing, you know? Like, Kevin Smith has had trouble getting funding. Strangely, this movie, he specifically says, was funded from the success of Tusk. Like, most people think of Tusk as a failure, and they're like, that movie's stupid, why'd you make it? And he's like, you know what, ever since I made Tusk, that's the number one thing producers come up to me and say, you got anything else like that? Like, I believe his next movie after this is Moose Jaws or something like that. It's basically like Jaws, except a dude being terrorized by a moose. And then he's also making, I think it's called Helena Handbag or Helena Handbag, whatever. And Scott Mosier will be producing that. So it looks like maybe they're going to get back together to kind of have a happy ending to this whole thing. Anyways, I could probably sit here and ramble about Kevin Smith stuff for hours. And if you want to listen to me talk about Kevin Smith a bunch more, you go ahead and check that out right here. We can watch Clerks together. Other than that, you have yourself a good time, and I'll catch you later.